maybe in 15 years, 20 years, maybe my number is up there next to Kareem.
The long wait has ended after a half century. The Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again.
It takes more than skills to be great. That's what people don't understand. You can be the most skillful person on earth, still don't make the NBA. The NBA is not about skills. When you think about LeBron, you think about consistency. He's been great for 20 years. Think about MJ. Edge, about getting better, obsession. Kobe, obsession. Steph. Man, it's not just skills. The thing that makes me a step further than people is the obsession and the discipline I have towards the game.
Welcome to NBA Today with Malika Andrews, live from Los Angeles.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. We're going to start our show with a developing story. Our senior insider, Shams Charania, reported early this morning that Giannis Antetokounmpo expressed questions about the Bucks' ability to truly contend over the summer to his front office. Now, Shams also reported that as the two sides discussed a path forward, it became clear that there was another place that Giannis wanted to play outside of Milwaukee, and that was the New York Knicks. So Shams is here alongside our front office insider, Bobby Marks. Shams, let's get into the details here. Just how serious were these talks between the New York Knicks and Milwaukee Bucks?
Malika, they were serious simply for the facts that sources told me that the New York Knicks emerged as the team in August that Giannis Antetokounmpo wanted to play for if he were to be traded outside of Milwaukee, if these two sides could reach agreement on a deal. And so the Bucks also picked up that phone call that the Knicks made. And I was told essentially from one source that this was an exclusive negotiating window that the Knicks had over multiple weeks in August. Leon Rose, the Knicks president, called John Horst, the Bucks general manager. These sides had multiple conversations. Offers were made. But there are two sides to this. The Bucks, I'm told, believe that the Knicks did not even offer a deal strong enough to continue these conversations. The Knicks believe, I'm told, that the Bucks never seriously considered a trade of Giannis Antetokounmpo this summer. And this all stems from the facts that Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Bucks still believe, is a guy that can help them right now win a championship. They still want to win with Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's what I'm told. John Horst told Giannis Antetokounmpo in their face-to-face meeting in late July that we can still win here with you, but clearly Giannis Antetokounmpo aired his level of concern as well with the roster. And so that's where these two sides are at. And people in New York have known, going back to 2024, that if this point ever came, Giannis Antetokounmpo might actually want to play in New York. So they've had knowledge that this is a possibility for a little bit of time here. They had a window, no deal.
I think we're about to get to a moment of truth, and I think we've got basically a one-year timeline when you look at the future of Giannis in Milwaukee here.
Yeah.
Here's a player, if we fast forward to next summer, is extension eligible. And that is going to show a lot of us what his commitment to the Milwaukee Bucks is going to be. Because we know that 4-year, $275 million extension is going to be there next summer. And if he doesn't sign that extension, or maybe if this team struggles during the course of this year, that Milwaukee front office is going to have to make a decision before Giannis comes to them and forces their hand.
Well, and something that Shams laid out in his story is that Giannis signed an extension with the Bucks in 2021. He signed another extension with the Bucks in 2023. But is the window closed here? We're heading into training camp. Giannis has just joined this team in Milwaukee. He said when he got there, he told reporters meeting with them in person for the first time, he's excited about the youth of this group. Is there still a pathway?
So for the Knicks exclusive window, that window has shut. When we talk about windows, let's shut that window, because if this ever comes about where Giannis Antetokounmpo going into the season, he's going to start considering his best external options, that window with the Knicks has closed. So you look around the league and he's going to continue, I'm told, to keep his options open and see how does the Bucks season start. The first quarter of the year is going to be very, very important. Stakeholders within the Bucks organization know this is somewhat of a make or break season for them. And his agent, Alex Saratzis at Octagon, he's been fielding rampant interest in Giannis since the May draft combine. He's going to be at the center of fielding and navigating this situation if it plays out into this season. Giannis, we know when the year begins, he's going to be focused. His numbers are going to skyrocket this year with the burden that he's going to have. But it's going to come down to wins and losses. John Horst and the Bucks, they believe this is a championship quality roster. There's been some questions Giannis has raised. results will show themselves.
Bryant, how are folks around the league digesting the idea that Giannis may be at some point available, depending on this first quarter, right? So that puts us at about December.
Yeah, there's been an expectation for quite some time that Giannis's days in Milwaukee, one way or another, are numbered. Whether that was going to happen this year, whether it's going to happen potentially during this season, or whether it could happen next summer, as Bobby laid out there. And when you get to situations like this, I find it very useful to focus on actions over words. Let's look at the actions of the parties that we have discussed here. The Milwaukee Bucks waived and stretched Damian Lillard. That cost them $100 million in dead money on their books. Then they spent an additional $100 million to sign Miles Turner this summer. Those are not the actions of a team that is about to trade the best player they've had since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, okay? Then you look at the New York Knicks. Obviously, they knew it was possible that Giannis would be available, and we saw some teams this summer potentially hold back on moves with the idea that Giannis could be available. So the idea that you wouldn't be prepared for this kind of phone call, I don't think is true. And despite knowing that, the Knicks went ahead and extended Mikal Bridges, which significantly limited their ability to make a major trade. Again, that action indicates that they didn't think they were in position to make this type of trade right now. And let's go to Giannis. If you want to be traded as a star player that makes over $50 million a year in the apron era, especially if you have a small selection of teams that you want to be traded to, you do not ask for a trade or discuss a trade in August. Those discussions happen before the NBA offseason begins. That's not to say that a trade couldn't happen, but certainly he would have to understand that. So I definitely think the actions that we see indicate at some point Giannis could again be discussed with the Knicks or elsewhere. But I look at the actions here, and I don't think they were ever going to lead to a deal over the summer between New York and Milwaukee.
Not to mention listening to what Giannis has said since he joined the team joined Media Day via Zoom, joined the team. He said what is important to him is winning a championship. And that's sort of been the same story for Giannis since I covered him, for the last 8 years. Perk, what do you make of this?
That he's out.
Really?
He's out. Listen, I'm about 100% sure, and this is just me assuming, this is just coming straight from Perk, no sources, that we will not see Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Bucks uniform at the end of this season. I believe he's giving the Bucks an opportunity right now, privately, before he goes publicly. Now, if you'd asked me this a week ago, before my guy Shams did this reporting today, I would have said, nah, Giannis gonna be in the Bucks uniform. You know why? Because they signed his brother, the Nassus, back, right? But that was a signing of desperation to say, you know what, Giannis, here, we're doing everything we possibly can. But I believe it's time. And if I'm the Bucks, I also believe with this report coming out that the Bucks phones are going to be ringing here shortly, because we are talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, in my opinion, already a top 5 greatest power forward to ever play the damn game of basketball. One of the most dominant players to play, generational talent that is in the middle of his prime. The phone is ringing. I do not expect Giannis Antetokounmpo to be in the Milwaukee Bucks uniform by the end of the season.
Okay, well, I'm going to pick up my phone and I'm going to ring Mr. Bobby Marks here, because Shams reported in this story, right, and you mentioned this a little bit earlier on our show, that maybe the best deal wasn't fully put forward here from the New York Knicks, because also there was a thought that they didn't think that the Milwaukee Bucks maybe were fully 2 feet into making this discussion. So let's dive in, Bobby.
Yeah.
What could this look like if they were to make this?
Well, look at the history of Leon Rose, their president, as far as going out and trading for OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Karl Anthony Towns. Big ticket moves here. Now, the problem is when we look at the trade machine, what leaves them with one first-round pick. Remember, they are a first apron team. They cannot take back more money. So when you look at a player like Giannis who's making $54 million, they can't take back more money here. They can aggregate contracts in a deal. You can put OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, who can't be traded until February 1st in a deal, but that's roughly $63 million. Now you're getting a third team involved. But look at where we're looking at it from a pick standpoint. One first available to go out and get probably the top 3 player in the NBA. That's where it gets complicated. You're getting a third team or a fourth team in here. I would say this from New York's perspective. When a player like Giannis becomes available, you basically have everybody on the table. You're basically saying pick for what you want. Now it's a matter of getting the money to work in a type of deal. When you're looking at it, certainly from Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, they have the sweet spot contract. But it's a matter of getting a third team involved, and it certainly does get complicated.
They can't be traded till the 1st, and the deadline is the 5th.
And here's the other thing. Yes, correct. Here's the other thing.
Short window.
We all can agree this team in Cleveland are probably the prohibitive favorite in the Eastern Conference. Do you want to tinker what you already have with this roster to go out and get this shiny toy here?
And that's the two-lane approach that the Knicks have taken, right? on one hand, the Knicks are like, we have a chance potentially to get Giannis Antetokounmpo, something we have been eyeing and something we've known is a possibility since last year, as I reported earlier today. But on the other hand, they've made these moves, Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns. They've depleted most of their asset base. Their non-player assets are pretty much decimated to try to win a championship now. And so they feel like they have the pieces right now where they can compete clearly for a championship, which is why there's some people in Milwaukee that feel like they didn't put their best foot forward in this potential deal scenario in August. But that exclusive window's shut. I will say this. Giannis Antetokounmpo, his camp, they are going to have a grip on this league to an extent now. There are teams that are going to continue to monitor it, and they're going to ensure that they don't exhaust themselves in other ways if this seismic trade possibility is still available for them in January or February.
And also, you look on the Milwaukee Bucks side of things, right? It seemed like, Giannis, heart is elsewhere, in my opinion. Like he, in my opinion, if you look at this roster, are they a championship roster? No. Does Miles Turner help them? Absolutely. But at what point do you start to consider, if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, from moving on from Giannis? And I know that's a hard thing to fathom and think about, but at the end of the day, you want to do what's best for the organization, but also while Giannis is hot, you want to make sure you're able to get back the pieces. But I do think the end is near. I don't expect Giannis to be in the Milwaukee Bucks uniform by the end of this season.
Well, the video you were just seeing is Giannis back on the floor with the team here in Miami, where he rejoined this group. If you listen to what Giannis has said, he has said all of the right things. He has complimented the moves they have made over the summer. He said, yes, I like that we have gotten younger, and let's see what happens here. This is what we know for sure. Giannis wants to win another championship. Where and how that happens, that's what is going to play out here.
J.J. Redick, Lakers taking a cautious approach with LeBron James ahead of his 23rd season. The Los Angeles Lakers officially kicked off training camp on Tuesday, but one major name was missing from the court, LeBron James. Head coach J.J. Redick explained after practice that LeBron is dealing with a minor nerve irritation in his glute, and given that he's heading into his unprecedented 23rd NBA season at age 40, the team is taking a deliberate and careful approach to his ramp-up during camp and preseason. It's probably going to be a longer runway leading up to opening night, Redick said. We're in uncharted territory here. After talking with the staff and with LeBron, we all agreed he may have pushed a little too hard in last year's training camp. And for me, as a first-year coach, having his full buy-in was incredible. But this year, we're being more methodical. He's got 22 seasons of wear and tear, and right now, he's dealing with a slight nerve irritation. So we're thinking long-term. There's really no blueprint for what LeBron is doing. No one has ever played 23 seasons in the NBA at this level. But what Redick is doing now is learning from how things were handled last season and adjusting to make sure the Lakers have their leader healthy and ready for the stretch that truly matters, the regular season and beyond. You're going to hear me say this a lot. It's uncharted territory, Redick emphasized. There's no roadmap for a player who's logged this many minutes, carried this much responsibility on both ends of the floor, for this long. We asked a lot from him last year, especially early in camp, and now we're working together to find what truly works best. The good news? LeBron is fully aligned with the plan. Everyone, from the coaching staff to the medical team, is on the same page. Still, there's no confirmation yet on whether the plan includes LeBron suiting up for any of the Lakers' 6 preseason games. It'd be great if he did. Of course, Redick admitted. We'd love to see it. But if not, we'll make it work. While seeing LeBron in preseason action would certainly help build chemistry, especially alongside Luka Doncic and the other new starters, health comes first. The Lakers are making it clear, this season is a marathon, not a sprint. LeBron on training camp plans, We'll figure it out. When LeBron James spoke at Lakers Media Day, he echoed Reddick's approach. It's all about being smart, not rushing, and staying engaged. We're still figuring it out, LeBron told ESPN when asked about his camp and preseason availability. Of course, I want to be on the floor as much as possible, but we all know where I'm at, physically and mentally, and the coaching staff knows it too. We just want to make sure we're aligned when the time comes to step on the court. This is year 23 for me. I've made huge strides this off-season. I've been training all summer. But even when I'm not on the court, I'm still locked in. I'm tuned into everything we're building. That's what matters most. As training camp progresses, the Lakers' approach with LeBron has sparked discussion across the league. While some fans are eager to see James back on the court as soon as possible, most analysts agree that the team is making the right call by managing his workload from day one. Inside the organization, the message is clear: preserving LeBron's health and effectiveness over the course of an 82-game season, and potentially a deep playoff run, is far more important than a strong start in October. The decision to ease him in slowly isn't just about his age, but about sustainability. The Lakers are building their strategy around maximizing his impact when it matters most. Beyond LeBron, this also gives new head coach J.J. Redick a valuable opportunity to assess the rest of the roster more closely. With James sitting out portions of training camp and potentially the preseason, younger players and recent acquisitions are getting extended reps in practice, a crucial factor as Redick shapes his rotation and offensive system. Reports from camp indicate that Redick has already started experimenting with lineups that don't rely solely on LeBron initiating the offense. That includes more touches for Luka Doncic in primary ball-handling situations, as well as a larger role for supporting pieces like Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. The hope is that, by spreading the responsibility, the Lakers can reduce the physical burden on James while improving overall team fluidity. LeBron's role off the court has also taken on new importance. Several teammates and staff members have noted how engaged he's been despite limited on-court participation, constantly communicating, observing drills closely, and offering feedback to younger players. It's a continuation of his evolution into more of a mentor figure, one who still leads by example but also understands the power of his presence and voice in building team culture. Around the league, other teams are taking notice. The cautious strategy mirrors what the Spurs did in the later years of Tim Duncan's career, or what Miami has done with Jimmy Butler in recent seasons, prioritizing long-term readiness over short-term gains. In LeBron's case, the stakes are even higher. Not only is he still playing at an elite level in year 23, but the team around him has been reshaped to support one final push toward another championship. As for LeBron himself, he remains focused and optimistic. Speaking briefly to reporters after Media Day, he emphasized his commitment to doing whatever is needed, whether that means leading on the court, guiding from the sidelines, or stepping back when necessary to ensure his body holds up for the full campaign. The question now becomes how this slower ramp-up will affect the Lakers' early season performance. Will the chemistry develop fast enough? Can the team find its rhythm without relying too heavily on James in October and November? And when he does return in full, will the calculated patience pay off? One thing is clear: the Lakers and LeBron are thinking bigger than just the next game. They're thinking about April, about June, about legacy. And in year 23, every decision matters that much more.